What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the wheel route. Let's get going on an eliminator. I'm jumping in right now. See how many spots we need to fill. We need to fill five. Waiting for five. All right. Until then, I can. Well, maybe. I'm gonna jump in some of those slow drafts and just kill some time until that eliminator fills. Oh, somebody jumped out. All right. Waiting for five. Waiting for five. Check out a slow. Oh, I only got 2 hours remaining on the clock there. All right. This is it right in the beginning. What do I have? I have ARSB. Let me add some. Do I want Hampton or Walker? ADP is saying Hampton. I'll go there. Some Omarion. Let me go to the next one. I started a few of these earlier just to keep the totals up. I am dwindling down my slow drafts as we get closer to August. I don't want to hit that period where they shift the 8 hour clocks to 4 hour clock, 2 hour clock, 1 hour clock, 10-minute clock, that sort of thing. I want my slow drafts to be slow, so I stop entering them when August hits, really. And I had jumped in 100 slows a couple weeks ago and found out that 100 is a little bit overwhelming if I'm going to have a social life. So, looks like we're going to go with a little. JSN has a week 11 bye, but so does AJ Brown and Drake London. I'll just grab AJ Brown and keep that in mind. JSN in this. Oh, Eliminator starting. We're there. We're good to go. Let's pop out this draft board and have some fun. All right. Actually, let me do this the other way. No, I'm forgetting which side I had. It's been about a week since I streamed, and oh wait, oh shoot, the Eliminator's already gone. I missed a pick. I would not have taken Puka there. I guess I would have taken Puka there. Is that right? No, this is my. Is this the right draft? Yeah. Okay, it is. All right. So I'm in the 4 hole. I auto drafted Puka, and we will go from there. Draft started out Gibbs, Bijan, Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, CMC, JSN, Jonathan Taylor, ARSB, Ashton Ginty, CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, and James Cook goes at the end of the first. So, Eliminator. We are. Actually, let me just focus here. For the Eliminator drafts, we are focused on the beginning of the season. In the Eliminator, first week, 6 out of 12 that you're drafting with in your league, I guess you call it, advance to week 2. The other half, you're out. So you really want to front load your points. In most non-eliminator drafts, we're looking to backload the points into the playoffs, or specifically in week 17. Maybe I should pull up a week 1 schedule to see. Bringbacks and stacks and bringbacks aren't nearly as important here as they are in non-eliminator tournaments, but I still like to stack for fun, for coordination, and because it does give you an advantage in any given week. I remember back in the late 90s, me and my friends kind of came across stacking accidentally. What up? Uh, do I want Achan? Yeah, I'm gonna take Achan in this. I don't. I've been soft fading Achan in other formats. Although at the 2.9, it's hard to pass up Achan in any format. But in non-eliminator formats, I generally soft fade him, kind of wait for the late second, and actually I'm hoping he kind of falls to the third. Uh, but I wait specifically because I don't think he's really going to be playing at the end of the season. Um, I think Miami's going to, fake IR him and let him rest and get ready for the following season when they have a top flight drafted rookie quarterback. Super tough lobby, lots of industry names. Ooh, really? See you there at the 1.1 Super Beast. Come on, leave me my guy. Thank you. My guy is Brees. I have loads of him in every format. All right, so we got Super Beast, Underzet. I've seen this name before, but I don't know. IBE Jones in. Go Birds something. Libreos, Mediboo, Sanka, Casey Bear. I've definitely seen Casey Bear before. Jeffrin, Big Zweezy, and Hoodied. A couple bronze badges, a silver badge in here. And Super Beast is always tough. Definitely. So it's been a week since I streamed. I didn't intend for that to happen, but I went from taking care of my parents with dementia and the aide that was supposed to. Well, I was covering for an aide that's on vacation. The aide that was supposed to come on Wednesday fell and busted up her shoulder. So I had to stay a couple extra days there. And then Friday, my girlfriend had a procedure done, so I've been taking care of her all weekend. Yeah, doing nice things for people. Now it's time for me to have fun. Just realizing I forgot to put my other shoes on. I got flip flops on. Thanks for rounding up on my. Definitely. They're still kicking. All right, so what do we got going on here? Pretty standard. I didn't go over the second round. Second round went Jefferson, Hampton, Henry, Walker, Bowers, Chase Brown, Pickens, A.J. Brown. Pickens is early because of week 14 bye probably. And then I went with Achan. Week 6 bye, but first 5 weeks he should be able to really establish it. Drake London at the 210, then Jeremiah Love and Javonte Williams. Third round, Nico Collins, Kyron Williams. Ooh, Kyron Williams going before Brees seems very odd to me. Rashee Rice, and then I went Brees Hall. It's coming back to me, so give me a second here. Damn, there's a lot of good choices. I'm going to go with Waddle. Just, I need to get more of them. And this probably isn't the right format to go ahead and grab him. My instincts tell me Judkins was the right pick there, but we'll see. See if I can get some other running back to come back. Probably not. Could get Lamar to come back. I wouldn't mind him. And again, no desperation need to stack in these at all. Although it does give you a slight edge week to week. And there are people that have made the point that whatever edge some strategy gives you in this format, it can also count against you. So stacking especially. So if I were to stack, let's take Lamar and Flowers. I have that stack quite a bit. if Lamar has a bad week, Flowers is obviously going to have a bad week, so it could hurt you in a head to head. But best ball, I'm going to have three quarterbacks. I have three chances at a stack working out in my favor. So I just think stacking, although it's not vastly important, it does come in handy. All right, I see my guy there. Super Beast stole my idea. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna give Bucky a shot. He says he's ready to play. Um, Passed up on Lamar. Uh, it is early in the fifth, so I'm pretty sure I'll get a quarterback I like coming back, and even if not, I can stack Denver and the Rams a little bit later, and we'll see what happens. Colson Loveland's a good pick. I seem to skip over him or just don't see him in this format. In like the BBM formats, I tend to I was drafting him in the late fourth quite a bit. I've tried to ease off him, but if I noticed him, I probably would have taken Loveland over Bucky. Um, not a huge, not a huge Bucky fan this year. There's just with Gainwell and God, I can't remember his last name right now. The RB3 there that does a little bit of the goal line work. I just don't think Bucky's going to see many high value touches. But in this format, he should present a relatively safe floor and prevent me from getting any zeros in the running back spot. Might fill in my flex from time to time. Anybody else in the chat also in the draft? Let me know. Say hi. I like to know. We got Super Beast over here. He's got Gibbs, Javante, Nico, Christian Watson, and Judkins. Like that squad. I'm a huge Judkins guy this year. And in all, like I think he's going to be a quality back for years to come. And my whole point with it is that with a full preseason this year, he should be really ready to go. And he kind of hit the ground running last year. So I'm not really afraid of anything negative happening, even though he is on one of the worst teams in football. But the Cleveland's defense should be poor this year, so that means the offense will have to step it up theoretically, and maybe we see some scoring from Cleveland this year. All right, so after I took Bucky, we see Loveland, Trevion Henderson, Lamar Jackson, Pollard, Carnell Tate, Devontae Adams, Jameson Williams, and DJ Moore finish out the fifth. Sixth round coming up. It will be my pick soon. Yeah, I'm going to just grab Drake May. I was going over some of my redraft rankings earlier, and I'm putting Drake May as my QB3. And here I get him as a QB5 after Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels. The sixth round starts out Adunze. Then we see Price, Ramondre Stevenson, Brian Thomas, Parker Washington, Jalen Warren, Hurts, Daniels. I take May. Then we see Burrow go. Then Marvin Harrison. Tyler Warren closes out the sixth. I do like that. I feel like that's a value pick there. And then we start the seventh. What do I have in Q? What do I need? I got 2 wide receivers, 3 running backs. Got my quarterback. Might be able to stack him later. Nobody likes Chuba or Rico, huh? I'm in that same boat. I'm not a fan of either one of them this year. Although in this format, I could see grabbing Chuba in the seventh. Seventh starts out with DK Metcalf going to Super Beast. Chuba Hubbard and J.K. Dobbins follow up after that. Yeah, I'm going to do... the goal is to do 3 tonight. We'll see how everything unfolds. I'm going to go. I'll go Jordan Tyson. I was thinking about going with Godwin. Um, go with God. But I want to space out the bye weeks here. I think in this format, bye weeks matter more than they do in any other format. If you can spread out your bye weeks at each position so that you only, have you don't have multiple of the same position on bye week at the same time. It gives you that a much better floor week to week. Cool, very cool. Appreciate that case space. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do three eliminator drafts tonight, um, and definitely appreciate the subscription and the likes for certain. Um, you know, if you catch me on the socials, definitely retweet me or re-skeet me or re-whatever me, repost whatever they call it. Uh, Need to get the word out there. Need to get up them subs. Call you. Oh man, how am I? Alibabek? Alibabek? I'll do my best. I'll do my best to remember that. Are you in this draft by any chance? Just want to jump in the next one. All right, so after I took May, we see Burrow, Harrison, Tyler Warren. Seventh round starts out DK Metcalf, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins. I take Jordan Tyson. Then we see Cortland Sutton. I feel like well, I've been doing slow drafts lately. I haven't done any fast drafts lately. Are Godwin and Sutton creeping back up to the seventh? They were going in eighth, ninth. Then we see Alec Pierce. He's falling as he should. Foot issues, and he had a breakout year last year, and we thought he was going to be good as a rookie, but that team, the Colts in general, probably inconsistent. The only pieces of the Colts that I like drafting are Jonathan Taylor, and actually I don't. I prefer when he drops a little bit. I was high on Taylor last year, but I'm not too optimistic this year. And Tyler Warren, I like. Just Tyler Warren, I don't have much of. He falls to spot in drafts where I'm usually looking quarterback or a third wide receiver or running back. After Pierce, we see Rico Dowdle, then a QB run of Herbert, Purdy, and Caleb Williams. Eighth round starts out with Pittman, Trevor Lawrence, Blake Corum, Makai Lemon, R.J. Harvey, and Jaden Reed. Blake Corum has gotten some good press lately. He's probably going to move up a little bit in drafts. Oh, Josh Downs is another indie guy. I guess I like all the pieces. I just don't like the quarterback for this season. Tucker Kraft, Josh Downs. I'll go with Kraft. Let's. Oh no, I won't. Josh Downs. Come on, let me get that in. Cool. The reason I did not want Kraft is that he has a Week 11 bye, and I'm going to try to stack Drake May later with Hunter Henry, and I don't want two tight ends with the same bye. Although if Kraft does come back, I will be getting him and stacking May with a receiver. All right, 3 running backs, 4 receivers. Got some decent running backs. Ooh, I see one I want. I see my guy. Let him come to me. Ooh, Laporta. I like that pick too. I think Laporta's going to have a good year. So after my Downs pick, we see Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Addison, Sam Laporta, and Goff. Nice little stack on a turn there. Then we see Tucker Kraft and 1 pick until it's mine. I'll be back. All right. Thank you. Leaving me my guy, Jonathan Brooks. Appreciate y'all. 9th round Brooks. Still holding strong. Uh, K-Space, that was good. I'll be back. Yes, dad jokes aplenty. I'm good with them. I'm a teacher, so I try to, be as corny as possible and tell as many dad jokes as possible. Get some eye rolls. At least I know the students are awake. So yeah, much appreciated there. All right, so I need to start to look a little bit. Gonna look at some quarterback possibilities. Ooh, this was probably the turn I should have grabbed my new guy, but we'll see. Uh, After my Brooks pick went Kyle Monangai. I just come on, the upside of Brooks is so much higher than Jordan Mason or Kyle Monangai or any of these guys, or even Corum and even Harvey. I guess we're looking more at floor in this format, but Brooks is going to be the starter if he stays healthy. Yes, we have to assume, or we have to hope for his health. He You can definitely identify him as injury prone, without a doubt, but he's still young too, from what I remember. I think he was drafted rather young, so here's to hoping, and I really hope he has a breakout year because I have tons of them in all formats. All right, so after Brooks goes Monangai, Pitts, Rashad White, Kenny Gainwell, Matt Stafford, Jackson Dart, Harold Fannin, Kyler Murray. Then to start the 10th, we see Xavier Worthy. Bo Nix is a guy I maybe should have grabbed instead of Downs. It's a bit of a reach, but oh well. JCM or Bill goes after that, and then 10-4 we see Purcell, and 10-5 we see Wandale Robinson. Then Jordan Love comes off the board. Oh wow. What do I got, man? I'm struggling. Maybe I should have gone Godwin instead of Tyson to get the Mayfield stack there, but I gotta get some romance with Romeo. I clicked that and it didn't go. And I don't have much Shuck, but if he comes back, I'll go with the stack. I might close out my running back room too. We'll see what comes back to me after. Did I? Oh well, after I think I left off at Jordan Love. After Jordan Love, we see Aaron Jones, George Kittle. I took Dubs. Then we see Travis Kelce, Jacoby Myers, Baker Mayfield goes at the turn. Yeah, I'm looking at, yeah, all right. I'm not looking at Shuck anymore. Um, hmm. Close out the running back room. Do I have any week 8 buys there? Yeah, I'll close out the running back room with Tyrone Tracy and wipe that out of my queue. No more running backs for me. I do like going heavy running back in this format. Um, I feel like with a solid floor at running back, I can take shots at other positions. Um, like in other formats, we're looking for kind of a late round dart smash, kind of your Kyron from a couple of years ago, Kyron Williams. Um, or any like this year, you could probably look at Green Bay, Marshawn Lloyd, even Jaden Blue. And there's a couple other guys that could all of a sudden kind of break fan. Brooks was going in the 14th, 15th. He was my break breaking fantasy, league winner type. And in the ninth, he could still do that. So I'm still drafting him. I think when it creeps up to the eighth in best ball, I just have enough of. I have over 30% of Brooks already, so there's no reason for me to chase him all the way up. In redraft, I was just going over my redraft rankings today, and I do myself a self mock draft. It's like uh, fantasy football masturbation, um, but it's very satisfying. Uh, um, that being said, I drafted Brooks. I think in the sixth round of that, sixth round, late sixth round. So in redraft, you're going to see Brooks, or I would expect to see Brooks in that sixth round. I know the Ship Chasers did a FFPC draft, and there's a bunch of boomers there, so running backs always go early. But they drafted Brooks in the seventh, and then like a week later, they saw him go in the sixth in another draft. So in your redraft, expect Brooks to be up in that sixth round rather quickly. All right, so 11th round starts out with Kevin Concepcion, Tyler Shuck, Khalil Shakir, Tyrone Tracy, Chris Rodriguez, Jake Ferguson, Isaiah Likely, Dalton Kincaid. I think Kincaid is a value pick here. Well, actually, he was a value pick when he was going 2 or 3 rounds later. Um, Finally moving up. I think Likely should drop a couple of rounds. I think that a lot of what Likely is just a hype beast because he went to the Giants with Harbaugh. After Kincaid, we see Sam Darnold go. I need to get some quarterbacks here. Then Matthew Golden, Mark Andrews, Dallas Goddard to end the 11th. To start the 12th, we see Rashid Shaheed, Jalen Coker, Chika Conquo, Woody Marks. Few picks until it gets to me. See a few quarterbacks lined up here for me. Some with stacks, some without, but hopefully I'll get one of them. Whew, man, maybe I should keep my mouth shut. How many people are watching this that are drafted? Either that or they're just making smart picks. Damn, I hate to do the Daniel Jones after I was bad mouthing him earlier, but he does stack with Josh Downs, and maybe he's not going to start out the season strong. He's coming back from Achilles, so he might start week 1, but if you look at all the quarterbacks and most of the position players, just about everybody who returns from an Achilles injury, they ain't right for 8 weeks or longer. So I'm not expecting much there, except maybe a bye week savior. I'm gonna have to. There's a couple other things. I'll be week 13 bye. All right, so Hunter Henry. I avoided Kraft. Is that my first tight end? Ooh. Get a little bit behind the 8 ball there, but that's all right. I'll get 3 tight ends. I'll get one more quarterback and fill in the back end with receiver. Or just grab a couple stats. Ooh, man. I might be closed out at the quarterbacks I like. Actually, Gino's got the same bye week as Daniel Jones, so maybe I won't do my typical jet stack. And I can grab, the 2 quarterbacks I grabbed late both have week 11 buys, same as Drake May. So I'm better off with, if Aaron Rodgers falls, he probably won't. Yeah. Brissett is going to start the season. He just signed that contract today. I don't have any of them, so I might grab him on the way back. So after my Daniel Jones pick in the 12th, went Tajay Spears. Jaden Higgins and Stephon Diggs closes out the 12th. There was, I just saw on Blue Sky, Diggs, I had a comment on he finds Washington an intriguing place to play. He's been practicing right up the street. Like, Stephon Diggs' house, like where he lives, is 15 minutes from D.C., Silver Spring area in Maryland, near University of Maryland, which is right outside of D.C., which is where he went to school. So expect Diggs to probably be a commander within the next couple of weeks. Then to start the 13th, we see Jalen McMillan, Bryce Young, Alvin Kamara, Hunter Henry, Tyler Algier, Juwan Jennings, Brenton Strange, Trey Tucker, Geno Smith in the 13th. Wow. Aranda Gadsden, Isaiah Pacheco, and Josh Johnson closes out the 13th. Start the 14th, we see Dylan Sampson. I don't know how many options I'm really going to have here. All right. Stacks are kind of out the window for now. Just going to grab... I probably should stock up on tight end here. And if one of the quarterbacks falls, I will consider them. Man, this gets tough. This gets tough. Definitely different ADPs here. Quarterbacks push back up. The 3 QB meta is real here. Like, you should be getting 3 quarterbacks in this format. You want to be able to cover bye weeks. You want to, make sure you're not, if there's injury, if you just want everything to be covered. And Jacoby, I'm going to go ahead with Aaron Rodgers. And, he'll at least start the season. He'll at least play. He shouldn't be broken in half until, maybe after his bye week. We'll close out the quarterback room. A lot of times, lately in all formats, I've actually been stacking Atlanta and Cleveland to get one of their quarterbacks in the last round. Not stacking both. Actually, I do. I'll draft a receiver on each of those teams, and it's guaranteed that either an Atlanta quarterback or a Cleveland quarterback will be waiting for me in the 18th. Sometimes I reach in the 17th just to secure it, but I've been liking that as a third QB option lately. But since Rodgers stuck around, might as well grab him. The Aaron Rodgers and Daniel Jones, at least there's some floor there to start out the season just in case May has a bad week. But I will be riding Drake May heavily. All right, so I'm going to get... No, I'm gonna go ahead and grab Kenyon Sadiq. I'm not sure the rookie starts out fast, but there is high upside there. Henry should have a floor at the beginning of the season to cover me, and I got another tight end that I can. Well, I'm probably gonna go with the. I'm gonna have a decision to make. If Gunnar Helm is there when it comes back, I'll probably grab him. If not, I will go with Freiermuth because there's plentiful wide receivers in the last couple of rounds that I can either stack or just grab for upside, especially in this format. Not too many people are grabbing more than 7 wide receivers in this format. So there's usually quite a few towards the end that I am at least content with. And after all right, so let me backtrack to Aaron Rodgers at the 14.9. After him went Dalton Schultz. That was the tight end I was really hoping for. Seemingly super safe floor with Dalton Schultz. Then Fernando Mendoza and Jerry Jeudy closes out the 14th. Wow. Jeudy is a guy that I am usually able to get in the 16th or later. And then the 15th, Brian Robinson, TJ Hawkinson, Trey Harris, Kenyon Sadiq, Zach Charbonnet. This format does not fit Zach Charbonnet. He should actually not even be drafted, or maybe an 18th round pick. He is likely not to be ready until the second half of the season. I guess as a sixth running back, not too bad. But in general, he should be going later than the 15th. Then Sean Tucker, that was the third running back on Tampa Bay I was talking about earlier. Uh, AJ Barner, Ray Davis, Adonai Mitchell, Ryan Flournoy, Pat Fryermuth gets taken. He was definitely my next in queue. Then we see Terrence Ferguson close out the 15th. 16th starts out with Jaden Blue, George Halani, Greg Dulcich, Cade Otton. And you can see from the Blue, Halani, even Ray Davis picks that running back gets pushed up in this format pretty heavily. So grabbing my 5 early is, I think it's a good idea. I definitely can't prove it yet. This is only the second iteration of Eliminator, I believe. But it seems to me that it's the right move to grab running back early. And nice people leaving me Gunnar Helm. I think Gunnar is one of the more slept on picks in drafting overall this year. I think he's going to have a great year. You got to remember back to his combine, he was the one that sprained or broke his ankle on his first run, and then he continued to do all the other drills in the combine. And the picture of his ankle was like, and I had a compound fracture in my ankle fibula years ago, and my left ankle is literally twice the size of my right ankle. But his ankle looked just as bad. Well, not as bad as my compound fracture, but I've had multiple sprains in each of those ankles too. That looked like a pretty nasty sprain, but he you know he toughed it out. And here we see Tua and Sanders, the quarterbacks I was talking about saving for the late rounds. They go in the 16th here. Back to me. I'm going to stack Rodgers with a rookie. Probably a bad idea. Rodgers doesn't throw to a rookie. But I don't know. I feel comfy and cozy when I stack. So I do it. And I don't have a whole lot of Jeremy Bernard at this point. So what the heck? And then there's a couple other guys that I really think will either bounce back or emerge to have some pretty good, consistent outputs throughout the season. Pretty safe floors. Just a few. Christian Kirk did he get hurt today? Or I saw something medical about him, like he had to leave practice or something. So I thought Christian Kirk was a good pick right up until they drafted Stribling. When they drafted Stribling, I was like, they're probably going to squeeze out Kirk. And Kirk didn't have a great year last year. So I think fading him for now is probably the best idea. Keon Coleman is somebody that I've been hearing good things about. And he goes. All right, so after my Gunnar Helm pick went Darnell Mooney, Tua, and Sanders, as I was talking about. Then to start the 17th, we see Kamani Vidal, Calvin Ridley, Mike Washington, rookie from Las Vegas. I took Bernard. And we see Njoku, Stribling, Tyquan Thornton, Zachariah Branch, Colby Parkinson, Braylon Allen, Keon Coleman, and Josh Coleman. Whoo. Oh, yeah. There's like just analysts in general, I think lately have been kind of hedging that Coleman probably won't see the light of day unless Dobbins gets hurt. And some are proposing that this is the year that Dobbins doesn't get hurt. I wish him the best, but I don't see it. He's been hurt every year, so why would this be any different? All right, 18th starts out with Christian Kirk, Rashad Bateman, Pat Bryant is a receiver I was hoping would fall to me. Generally doesn't fall to the 18th round anymore as far as I see, but I was still hoping. Then we see Jordan James, Emmett Johnson, James Conner, is my pick. I'm gonna go with Jalen Noel instead of Tank Dell. Just I think there's gonna be a safer floor there, and with taking the risk on Bernard, I didn't want to take another risk. I do think Tank Dell will be back. Um, Maybe not at full strength, but I have a lot of Tank Dell in non-eliminator formats. I just don't think this format, unless we hear that he is, if he's definitely healthy, he is all formats. Tank Dell, get him. Even if he like, if we get reports that he's back up to full speed, um, I would. I have so much of Tank Dell. At one point, I had 49% Tank Dell. I'm still right around 30. I think I would chase him up to maybe like the Coker Rashid Shaheed area, 12th round. Um, no further than that, though, just because I have a ton of them already. All right, so before my Jalen Noel was Mac Jones, Keishon Butte. I take Noel. Then we see Gasicki, Cup, and Malik Davis. Just so I'm going to go over my team and Super Beasts. If there's anybody else that was in this draft, I'll go over your team too. But I am going to jump in another eliminator now. And I'm going to cue you up. So you should jump in right now. What I'm going to do is wait 5 seconds or so. I think there's a 7 second delay. So you should be hearing it when I actually clicked. It doesn't matter. There's 4 spots open. If you want in, get in the eliminator ASAP. And we'll go against each other. All right. So my team in this eliminator was Puka Nakua, Devon Achan, Brees Hall, Jalen Waddle, Bucky Irvin, Drake May, Jordan Tyson, Josh Downs, Jonathan Brooks, Romeo Dubs, Tyrone Tracy, Daniel Jones, Hunter Henry, Aaron Rodgers, Kenyon Sadiq, Gunnar Helm, Jeremy Bernard. I'm horrible with first names when I'm on camera. And then Jalen Noel. Everybody's stacked, thin stacks. Not ecstatic about this squad, but actually I got New England double stacked. This squad definitely depends on Drake May. The next eliminator has started. I will switch to that in just a minute. Let me get a drink here. So Ace Cowboy, you're in. Sweet. All right. So Super Beast starts out Jahmyr Gibbs, Javonte Williams, Nico Collins, Christian Watson, Quinshon Judkins, Tyler Warren, DK Metcalf. Then he stacks Laporta and Goff. And he goes with Mayfield, Kevin Concepcion, Stefan Diggs, stacks Mayfield with Jalen McMillan, grabs Jerry Jeudy, Brian Robinson, Shador Sanders, Kamani Vidal, and closes with Malik Davis. Like your squad, would you go 7? Two tight end build. I don't know if I have any 2 tight end builds in any format. But going with Warren and Laporta should fill in all of your weeks. I just don't like any kind of risk of a bye week. But then again, I guess in this format it doesn't matter a ton, because if you have late bye weeks, chances are your opponent will be suffering or hurting at that spot as well. All right, so I am going to push Barkley up to the first round. It's a bit of a reach. I believe in Barkley over Cook this year. I think James Cook is going to be a fantastic second round pick or a turn pick. That's fine. Just not a huge. I just think Barkley is going to outperform him this year. and he has a later bye. Um, and so Cook with the week 7 bye, there was a like 4 really good teams with a week 7 bye. If I had gone Cook in the first round, I would have had to, I could have gone Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker has an even earlier bye week. I guess I could have gone Chase Brown or Devon Achane. Uh, Derrick Henry went right before me because of his late bye in this format. Works out very well. So first round, let me go over it. We have Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua. Haven't seen many drafts start much different than this. Sometimes these wide receivers get in the first or second picks, but pretty much the top 4 is the top 4. After that, this draft we see Jonathan Taylor. He has a week 13 bye. I prefer Ginty with the week 13 bye. Then we see Christian McCaffrey, ARSB, JSN, Saquon Barkley by me, Justin Jefferson, and James Cook closes out the first. Second round, we see CeeDee Lamb, Derrick Henry, Omarion Hampton to me, Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown, Devon Achane, AJ Brown, Brock Bowers, Drake London. Let me see where everybody is. So in the 1 hole, we have Hawley, Mike, and some numbers in the 2 hole. Bronze badge there. Jaws, Black Badge, Trider, King Pesto, Bull Nuts, TCF something, Boom Set, Space Cowboy, Jake M24, me, Luke Bro, Prison Mike. Oh, you're all right. So you're Space Cowboy here. Where's my guy Super Beast? Didn't make this one. He might have had to tend to the wife and kids or something. I don't know if he even has that. All right. So after Drake London, we see George Pickens, Nico Collins, Jeremiah Love close out the second. This Hawley first from the 1 hole goes 3 running backs to start. See how many he ends up with. Brees Hall starts out the 3rd, then Javonte Williams, Rashee Rice, Kyron Williams, Devontae Smith, Trey McBride, Josh Allen goes. Yeah, you did. All right. What am I doing? Do I want to? Tempting to go running back here, but I'm gonna go with Zay Flowers. Start to build out my wide receiver. And in the off chance that Lamar were to fall to the 5-10, I would grab him there. I won't grab Lamar in the 4th. That's just crazy talk. I do think there are a couple receivers here that are mispriced. I might do a little reaching. Let's see. We have Garrett Wilson with a week 13 bye. Just gets taken before me. The turn we saw 2 running backs. I'm gonna go back to the well and go Jalen Waddle. I do think within the next 3 or 4 weeks, we see Jalen Waddle creep up to like the mid to early 3rd round in just about any and all formats. I was considering, and I do have Tatori McMillan ranked ahead of him in non-eliminator formats, but the week 10 bye as opposed to a week 5 bye, I would rather get to week 10 before I have to worry about any of that sort of thing. And again, if I spread them out right, we should be just fine. Although, yeah, not too many other wide receivers have a week 5 bye. But anyway, I do think Jalen Waddle is going to be the key to Denver's offense in general this year. I think they went out and got him for a reason. Sean Payton has already cursed them by calling him the Joker, but hopefully it'll pay off this time. Just to go over, after my Zay Flower picks, we saw Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, and the third. David Montgomery starts the fourth. Then Garrett Wilson, I take Waddle. Then T. Higgins, Scam Catabust uh, at the 4-5. Lad McConkey, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Tatora McMillan, DeAndre Swift, Luther Burden, and Whiskey Bill Jameson Williams to close out the fourth. What do you got, Space Cowboy? ARSB, Chase Brown, Mecca Igbuka. I am anti Scataboo this year. Yeah, a lot of people believe in Cam. I'm kind of the only one I know calling him a bust. Um, I just think he's fat and slow to begin with, and with a major ankle injury. Yeah, he's doing backflips, but that that doesn't make me think he's being smart about his injury. Ooh, boom set gets Allen and Lamar. Double early quarterback. Don't see the sense in that in this format, honestly. Um, but we'll see. It is a new format, and there are things still unexplored. Ah, damn. I was really hoping Colston Loveland was going to make it back to me. I'm going to go Jadarian Price. A little earlier than I like to grab him, but again, having three solid starting running backs in my first five picks in this format makes me feel cozy and comfy. Um, yeah, I like Warren. I like Loveland. I think Loveland's going to be the tight end 2 this year, right behind Bowers. I think Loveland is um, flying under some people's radar. I should grab a Dunze here, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab Drake May again. Um, maybe a little bit quick on that. Oh, I mean, I grabbed them in the 6th round last time, so it shouldn't be much of a difference. I do, that week 11 bye is a little bit of a hurdle. But I didn't get Lamar, so I might as well just go ahead and get the third best quarterback in the NFL, Drake May. Yeah, no problem. I only grab Burrow when I do have the stack with him. I definitely think. I mean, I shouldn't say definitely, right? Um, Burrow can have a QB1 overall season, but he doesn't have any rushing upside at all. And if you look at the quarterbacks that are going ahead of him and even a couple behind him, all have that rushing floor that they take into each game and massive upside because of it. Chase, yeah, okay. Yeah, that stack is doable as well for sure, especially in this format. Stacking doesn't matter a whole lot in this format, but I do I like a running back quarterback stack because theoretically, if the quarterback goes off, the fourth quarter is going to be owned by the running back. But in this case, it's more like they're coordinated or they correlate because Chase Brown will be catching passes from Burrow. So yeah, that is a neat little stack to grab. I like that quality quality build here. Um, yeah, you know what I like. I hate to be a pessimist, but the one thing I noticed last year is that the teams that made the finals were the ugliest freaking teams I had. Like one of them didn't even have a quarterback for the entire playoffs. I had three quarterbacks. I drafted three quarterbacks. None of them were still healthy during the playoffs. Man, running backs are just kind of falling. I already have a week 10 bye. I'm going to grab Sutton. Uh, it was either Sutton or Dobbins. I guess I could have grabbed Lemon. He still has a week 10 bye, though, too. See if... Is Nix going to come back? You guys going to give me Bo Nix? Since I have both Denver receivers, that'd be nice of y'all. I didn't go over the 7th round at all. Let's take a look right after my comeback pick. Yeah, I wasn't. I guess I probably should have gone Quentin Johnson to stat and come back with a Herbert stack there. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab Trevor Lawrence just so I can push my third QB to like one of the distant ones. Oh shoot. No, I'm gonna get Bo Nix if he comes back either way. So it looks like 3 early quarterbacks is a possibility in my future. I like Lawrence. I know I can backstack him. Not that I need to, but he's always a fun backstack. Yeah, I probably either should have just grabbed Herbert or went with Quentin Johnson and hope Herbert came back to me. The stack was made at the turn. All right, so 7th, actually, after my May pick, I kind of fell off. Dunze and then Space Cowboy took Burrow. Then we see Pollard, Stevenson, Brian Thomas, Harrison, Jalen Warren, Parker Washington, DK Metcalf finish out the 6th. 7th round went Jordan Tyson, Jalen Hurts, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, Blake Corum, Dak Prescott, Caleb Williams, Alec Pierce, Chris Godwin. I took Sutton, even though I already had Waddle. Probably not the best idea. Then goes Tucker. I just didn't want to get J.K. Dobbins. Like, I just have a thing against that. And I already had Barkley with a week 10 bye. And, yeah, the double stack isn't a great idea in this format with Denver. But anyway, where'd I leave off with my rattling off picks? Sutton, I guess. Then we see Kraft and Herbert finish out the 7th. 8th round went Quentin Johnson, Jaden Reed, Trevor Lawrence, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Mekhi Lemon, Brock Purdy, Michael Wilson, Harold Fannin, Michael Pittman, Kyle Monangai, Josh Downs closes out the 8th. 9th round starts out with Worthy, Addison, and Dart. Then we see Jonathan Brooks go at the 9-4. Exact same spot he went last draft. Then Bo Nix goes, so my Denver stack is shot to hell. If this was BBM format, they'd be a fantastic bring back for Drake May, but I screwed the pooch on that one. Whoops. All right, what do I have coming back? Let me see. Wide receivers seem to be going fairly quickly in this one. Oh, I have an idea what I'm going to do. All right. I got 3 running backs, 3 receivers. Patrick Mahomes goes. I think it's time for a tight end. I'm going to grab Sam Laporta. I could come back with Goff. But that'll be a decision to make. We'll see. After my Laporta goes Matt Stafford. Who drafted? You're mixing me up there, kid. All right, Laporta. I'm gonna stack Trevor Lawrence with Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers is the absolute prototype of an eliminator ass pick. He's just going to be consistent floor, not really much ceiling, but should get you, 6-7 catches, 70-80 yards every week, maybe throwing a touchdown here or there, get you consistently. You were praying you wanted Goff. Yeah, you have ARSB. Yeah, if I didn't like, if I hadn't like foolishly grabbed Trevor Lawrence there, I definitely would have had that stack going on. But yeah, uh, yeah, it's a tough decision for you. If I were you, I probably would have played it safe and just grabbed them in the ninth. But sneaking in Purcell there, not a bad idea. So after my Myers pick went Mayfield, Space Cowboy takes Goff. Then we see Pitts, Golden, Kyler Murray, Aaron Jones, Romeo Dubs, George Kittle, Tyler Shuck. Ooh, that was the other pick I missed there. Um, hmm. I'm gonna have to stack May with Hunter Henry again, which is fine in this format. I think Hunter Henry is probably consistent and good for the first half of the season, but I could see him fading off second half of the season, whether it's injury or the rookie starting to emerge. Only have 3 running backs to this point. Would like to add something here, but my guy Tyrone Tracy just falls off. Lots of tight ends here. Chris Rodriguez, my other guy in Q goes. I'll just go ahead and grab Mark Andrews here. 2 quarterback, 2 tight ends so far. Only 3 running back. I gotta get caught up at running back here somehow. Not very much kind of choice. I'm gonna solidify my quarterback room with C.J. Stroud. I can eliminate quarterback from the queue. Super safe floor at quarterback. Maybe too safe. I really like Stroud in just about any build. Safe floor. I usually grab him as my second quarterback. In non-eliminator formats, but as a third here in this one, I am fine with it because as we saw in the last draft, quarterbacks will start to fly off the board completely within the next 2 rounds. So after my Myers pick, I talked through the 10th, didn't I? Yeah. 11th round went JCM Bill, Malik Willis, Travis Kelce, Sam Darnold, Kevin Concepcion, Jaden Higgins, Khalil Shakir, Tyrone Tracy, Chris Rodriguez, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Jake Ferguson, Isaiah Likely, Dallas Goedert. Wow, 5 tight end turn right there. I took C.J. Stroud. Then we see Ward, Hawkinson, Coker, Rashid Shaheed, Woody Marks. Ooh, Hunter Henry goes. No stacking May. Stephon Diggs at 12-10, then Spears and Daniel Jones to finish out the 12th. 13th starts out with Rodgers and Young. See quarterbacks disappearing. Nice. Hopefully see you in the finals. That'd be cool. Cam's back up just in case. Let me see what you're talking about. Yeah. In this format, handcuffs are not a bad idea, especially when it's like a guaranteed handcuff. Well, there's people talking out there that Singletary just re-signed with the Giants. Singletary is great for the locker room, but he's just getting to be to the age where I don't think he's going to steal much. Sure, beginning of the season he might vulture some, but I do like that Tracy Scatterbust stack. Ooh, don't take my guy, bastard. I'm kind of screwed here. I'm just going to go reaching for Dylan Sampson. I think he's going to be the consistent third down back, pass catching back. My girl's bedtime. Gotta give me a second after this turn to respond to a text. But I wanted Algier. There's some coach speak today uh, that Jeremiah Love has been showing that he's definitely a rookie, is literally what the coach said. Oh, shoot. No, no, no. Yes. Come on, home. Get this in. All right. So I'll stack Stroud with Schultz, and that'll close out my tight end room. I like the quarterback and tight end is strong in this one. It is wide receiver and running back. Running back's okay with that start. Definitely got to make up for it at wide receiver in the last 4 picks. I will get one more running back and then just try to grab some safe floor wide receivers. Nothing really. I'm going to be able to stack Stroud with a receiver as well. But I got to also remember no week 10 wide receivers. All my running back. Oh no, I got 2 week 11 running backs, don't I? Okay, I got to watch out for week 11 running back, week 10 wide receiver. Scroll back up to the top. Just gonna take. Actually, 14th. Actually, let me send these texts out. Sorry to interrupt, but this is very important. Oh shit, that didn't work. Huh. There we go. All right. Back to me in the 15th. That took way too long to do that. Shoot. I can't do week 10. I can't. Oh, where the heck did he? All right. I'm going to grab Jerry Jeudy. I do think Jerry Jeudy has a safe floor this year. um, and I shouldn't be doing this right this second. Okay, cool. Done, done, done. Jerry Jeudy, I think, does have a safe floor this year. Jerry Judy's always been an every other year guy. Odd years, he does miserable. Even years, he performs fairly consistently. Um, I'm actually going to reach a little bit and grab Jaden Blue. He went in the 16th round in our last draft we saw, and Ray Davis just came off the board, so it's right around the guys he usually goes around. A little bit, Jaden Blue is usually a 17th, 18th round pick. I have no problem grabbing him here. I do think he is, along with Samson, I kind of got cut off there. Samson's going to be a pass catching third down back. I do think Blue is going to take that same role in Dallas. If you listen to the coaches, this year's a whole lot different than last year was. They've seen Blue mature quite a bit, they say. So, and that was really the only thing lacking in his package, was that it was very immature. But if he's geared up, ready to play, and taking responsibility for his actions, I want as much of him as I can get. Close out that. Just my other choice at receiver was gonna be like Malik Washington, which, oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, yeah, I need 2 more receivers. Yeah, I kind of really fell behind at wide receiver there. But I should be okay seeing that most of their bye weeks are pretty late. And other than that week 10 bye, they're pretty spread out. Hmm. Just looking at what's left, not a ton of. Well, yeah, I do have. Got to scroll down a little bit to find some floor wide receivers. I think, generally speaking, people tend to think of players in a similar order as they do in non-eliminator drafts. So you see, ooh, Jalen Noel goes. That was one of my start guys. I was hoping to grab in the 18th. Thoughts on Justice Hill? That I think that Justice Hill will probably see eight, let's say 8 to 10 touches early in the season, but then fade off towards the end of the season. I think just like last year, they'd prefer to keep uh, Derrick Henry fresh, so they're going to utilize Justice Hill in the beginning of the season this year. Pat Bryant is the other one I was really hoping would come back to me. Otherwise, here we have rookies. I'm going to take a gamble that Keenan Allen is going to sign soon. I have no idea who with really. I'm hedging that Keenan Allen ends up going to the Los Angeles Rams. I do think, yeah, every year we say he's old, and quite honestly, in other formats, I, I am still grabbing him in the 18th round, but mostly because as soon as he signs, he automatically becomes like a 14th round pick. Like he's gonna go ahead of Flournoy and Jennings, I would think, and Adonai Mitchell. The other pick I'm gonna grab here, I guess I could have gone with a Houston stack, but I'm not. Um, I'm gonna go Devon Vele. Um, Chris Olave. Yes, he played most of last season. He might have played all of last season, but in previous seasons he was consistently hurt. He is small. He has the concussion. Chris Olave has the concussion issues. The other wide receiver there is a rookie, and I do think Tyson is going to be absolutely fantastic. He's probably going to start out a little slow, and I do think Devon Vele can start out the season with some I don't know, a few boom weeks or some consistency, some points. He'll put points on the board for first 5 or 6 weeks until Tyson gets his feet wet, and yeah. So closing out this squad. So this on the Justice Hill. Um, I think Justice Hill is better earlier in the season in this format to give you somewhat of a floor. I think Baltimore is going to want to use him as a veteran presence to give Derrick Henry a breather. You got to remember, Derrick Henry's best weeks are always towards the end of the season. December. That's why Derrick Henry has really, truly made a name for himself. Last year, we saw him start out slow. Um, and we saw Justice Hill get touches. So yes, in this format, I definitely and so I like Justice Hill better in this format. If Derrick Henry does get injured, I do not think you're going to see Justice Hill get 15 or more touches. They do have other running backs there. Um, they draft a guy I was drafting a lot preseason, and the owner Steve Bisciotti really likes the rookie they got, and the name's escaping. Let me scroll down here. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to find this name because it's going to annoy me if I don't. Adam Randall. Adam Randall is a pass catcher, and Adam Randall is bigger. Adam Randall's a 230-pound former wide receiver turned running back. Um, there's another guy we drafted with the same qualities that busted though. Like I think Rashawn Johnson. So Adam Randall could fantastically just bust, right? Like I mean, I think he was a 6th-round pick, so you don't really call him a bust, but he does have that potential upside to really fill that role. But I do think in this format, definitely Justice Hill has a early season floor, which is what we look for in this kind of thing. Um, yeah, like I drafted tons of Dobbins as a rookie in dynasty leagues. I was so high on Dobbins for so long that it's just like it's been beaten out of me. It's been beaten out of me. Like I see him now, and even here, like he was lined up as a value pick when I took Sutton, and I just couldn't. And I passed him again when I took Lawrence. Um, in this format, Dobbins is fantastic, though. Let me go over my team. I grabbed Saquon Barkley, Omarion Hampton, Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle. Was pretty psyched about that start. But then, like, as the picks came to me, it seemed pretty thin. Um, Jadarian Price, I'm happy with. Um, he's a rare rookie who I expect to get, you know, 12 to 15 touches a game right off the bat. And if he's as good as the hype presents, he's really going to, he has an opportunity to break out immediately. And Drake May, I've talked about him enough. I have him as my QB3 and just think I think Drake May is the MVP this year with A.J. Brown and Romeo Dubs. Actually, those receivers coming in might actually hurt Drake May's rushing upside. So, what's this? Oh man, Ray Rice pointing. Um, I'm gonna go over your team in a second. Yeah, I think in this format, if you feel like your squad's falling apart at the end and you can't land the plane, I'm getting the feeling of that every single draft. This format just seems there. You know what it is? It's late rounds. There's no floor on any of these guys. You just like you're taking their dart throws in other formats where you're hoping for upside, so they look magical in other formats. But in this format, you're like, oh shit, they got no floor whatsoever. But let's see. After Drake May, I grabbed Sutton. Debatable pick. I talked about that. Trevor Lawrence, same thing. I liked Laporta, but probably, I don't know. Maybe I would have stacked Dubs there, but I knew I wanted Jacoby Myers coming back. Um, could have stacked Laporta, Goff. It was a little messy there. Grabbed Mark Andrews because I was like, I could use a tight end, and he has a week 13 bye, and I do think he has a very safe floor, especially to start the season before the rookies start to emerge in that offense. Then C.J. Stroud again, safe floor. I was going to stack him later, but I was able to stack him with Schultz after I drafted Dylan Sampson. The only problem with Sampson there was that he is the same bye week as Jarian Price. And I grabbed Jerry Jeudy, who I think is going to have a safe floor. Jaden Blue to close out my running back room. Then Keenan Allen as a cross your fingers that he signs somewhere and gets some consistent play, at least to start. And then Devon Bailey, I talked about. Space Cowboy, ARSB, Chase Brown, Emeka Egbuka. I talked about Scatterbust, and I will continue to call him that. I do, yeah, and you did handcuff him later, so I do like that. Tyler Warren, again, I would have drafted Loveland first, but that's personal preference. Joe Burrow stacked with Chase Brown there, as we talked about. Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is a high upside guy. In this format, I do prefer Josh Downs, or even Godwin or Jaden Reed. Uh, RJ Harvey is next. I prefer him. I have a lot of Harvey, but I have him in other formats. Um, but that he is a passing down back. He won't necessarily be their third down back, but he is learning pass blocking, which might put him in third downs as well. Dobbins doesn't really catch the ball. Harvey will. Then you went with Purcell, Goff, like we talked about, stacking with ARSB, Tracy handcuffing with Scatterbust, TJ Hawkinson. I personally think Hawkinson is probably dust. I'm fading him unless I draft Kyler Murray. Travis Hunter, high upside. I don't know if the floor is there, especially, well, maybe to start the season it probably will be, but definitely going to be used a little bit more on defense this year. Doesn't necessarily mean he'll be cutting back on offense, just means that going both ways leaves him susceptible to injury or, shit happening. Um, then we Tank Bigsby. So Tank Bigsby really is completely contingent upside. I would stay away from him in this format. Don't mind him in other formats. Cade Otton. I only draft Cade Otton when I'm stacking Mayfield, but that's personal preference. And we see Tank Dell. I would have grabbed him had he fallen further. I probably didn't even really see him as I was drafting Jaden Blue. I might have grown with Dell, but I was hoping for Jalen Noel, who I think is going to have a safer floor. Pat Bryant, very good pick, excellent pick, fantastic pick. Really like him. And then Carson Beck to close it out. So this format again. Carson Beck isn't going to start the first 6 weeks. That'll be Brissett just signed a new contract today. I like Carson Beck in other formats when I have a Cardinal or two. Not so sure about this format. Here's the other thing about Kyler and his tight end. He loved throwing to McBride, except in the end zone. McBride couldn't get a touchdown for his life from Murray. Jacoby got some money. Like that. So just for future reference, and this is just my opinion, although I have reason to brag and proving my opinion is worth something. If you look at Fantasy Pros draft rankings for the past 3 years, I am in the top 10 in as far as draft accuracy. So yeah, I guess I could brag. I do a little. I do my 30-second brag every show. That's it. I won't bring it up again. But yeah. Well, pat on the back. Well, ego boost. Yes, definitely. I'm happy you found me too, and happy everybody else found me. Please like, subscribe, join in the chat. I like to have fun with everybody. That is what we do this for, is fun. And I think we always need to remind ourselves of that because we get super serious with this, don't we? All right, I'm going to jump in. Oh, I didn't have the draft board up, did I? I was sharing the wrong room. All right, anyway, I'm going to show the draft board for the whole next one. My bad about that. I was showing you my cue the whole damn time. All right, so gonna jump in another eliminator. You should jump in now. I'm gonna wait a couple seconds because there is a 7-second delay on these. Boom. We should all be jumping in now. There's still 4 open spots. If you want to get in, jump in real quick. Eliminator, underdog. Was there anybody else in that first draft that wants me to go over? If you do, let me know. Hopefully you're in this one and we can go over that then. All right, so let me put the draft board up. Man, that was a rookie mistake. This is only my second year streaming, so and technically speaking, I only did like a dozen streams last off season. I tried to do it consistently throughout the season, but just tailed off. Um, couldn't maintain it. I hope to this year. This year, I hope to do a pregame stream on Thursdays, and then start sit on Sunday mornings, kind of go over my rankings, that sort of thing. So definitely like and subscribe. Turn on notifications because I don't have a regular schedule. My life, even over the summer, this is the first year in 15 years I'm not either running a summer baseball camp or teaching summer school. I'm a teacher by profession. Um, so I thought this year I have tons of time to do all the streaming and da 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 da, and just life pops up and gives you freaking stuff to do, right? But that was the other thing. I wanted to check my slow dress. um, just want to make sure I'm not timing out in any of them real quick. Hold on. All right, I have at least an hour left, and well, all right. So the Eliminators kicked off. I'm gonna go back to it. Uh, Try to remind me at the end of this that I gotta hit my slow drafts real quick. All right. So Bijan, Gibbs, Chase Puka, McCaffrey, Taylor Ginty. I wanted Ginty. Um, hmm. I'm gonna CD Lamb just because he has a Week 14 bye. Um, in all other formats, I definitely would have gone ARSB there. Who's in this one? Lubert, Star Fox, Frog Clone. Frog Clone, silver badge. He's, ooh, is this a gold badge? Yeah. FK Coolers. I've definitely seen him before. Fat Mac, something. Mug. I can't even pronounce that. Dream Crush, K-Ped, Medley, and BGDG. Uh, the gold badge is really the one I gotta look out for. None of you guys in this one? All right, I'm gonna go Chase Brown here. Early bye week, but solid floor. Maybe I'll repeat what Space Cowboy did uh, with Burrow in the sixth. Consider that, but I will be looking for Dak in the seventh probably. All right, so after CD Lamb went JSN, Justin Jefferson, James Cook, ARSB at the 112. I was going to say because of his week six bye, but so does Justin Jefferson. Bit odd that ARSB went that late. Then to start the second, we see Barkley, Hampton, Walker, Derrick Henry. I take Chase Brown, then Devon Achane, Jeremiah Love, mid-second. So there were, I talked about it earlier. Arizona's head coach was talking up Tyler Algier today. And when asked about Jeremiah Love, he said, well, he's definitely a rookie. So that didn't sound fantastic. I would expect to see Jeremiah Love kind of fall back to the mid-third within the next couple of weeks. Then we see A.J. Brown, Brock Bowers, Drake London, George Pickens, and Nico Collins closes out the second. Third round starts out with Josh Allen, Rashee Rice, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, and I will be up in a couple of picks. Not Josh Jacobs goes mid-third. In this format, I could see that. I mean, early in drafting season, Josh Jacobs was going in the late second. With, and understandable. The only reason why he fell was his legal issues. This format, he's definitely a good pick. After Jacobs, Kyron Williams, and David Montgomery. I'm sorry, I'll get Travis Etienne. Everybody pronouncing Etienne as Achan is like, how more American can you be? Like, America. Um, Etienne is a French pronunciation of the last name. That's what he was going by. That's what he was trying to say. That's what he said 5 years ago when he entered the NFL. Everybody that's calling him HN is just a knucklehead and isn't actually listening to things. Um, yeah, don't listen to them. Listen to me. After Etienne goes, we see Trey McBride, Chris Olave, Egbuka, and Devontae Smith close out the third. Fourth starts with Swift, Tatora McMillan, Quinshon Judkins, Zay Flowers. All right, I'm not going to get Waddle again. I'll just go with next in queue, Garrett Wilson. I'm not too optimistic about Garrett Wilson just because, they drafted a wide receiver in the first round. They have Adonai Mitchell, who really came on towards the end of last season. Kenyon Sadiq was drafted. There's a lot of other options there, and it's the damn Jets. Like betting on the Jets is not the not how you build a bankroll. Although I do have a ton of Jet stacks this year because I've been getting the later guys. Although, you know, if I get stuck at quarterback here, it does give me an out later to just grab Geno kind of whenever I want. Like if I don't have a third quarterback by the end of the 12th round and Geno comes back to me in the 13th, I will strongly consider it, depending on the rest of the makeup of the team, of course. But the week 13 bye definitely looks good. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. After I took Wilson, we see Scatterbust, Tootin, T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, Jalen Waddle, Terry McLaurin, and Bucky Irvin closes out the 4th. To start the 5th, we see Lamar Jackson and Luther Burden. Just kind of want to glance ahead at what I might be looking at. Just a heads up, if there's anybody that's in the draft that's listening, if you could just let me know where you are. I do like to talk out loud and tell you what I'm thinking, but I don't want to give my whole shit away like I did the last draft. But yeah, I do have Jadarian Price queued up. Malik Neighbors is going, and he goes, he's not on the PUP list to start camp. That doesn't mean he's fully healthy at all, and doesn't mean they can't put him on the PUP list tomorrow. But it is a good sign that maybe there's a chance he does play week 1. Colston Loveland has gone the pick before. Oh, no, he went to pick after me in one of those drafts. But the past 2 drafts, he went to pick before me. I will get Jadarian Price. Is that a third time for Price? Well, at least he doesn't have the same bye week as somebody I've already drafted. But yeah, I've talked about him. Jadarian Price has a chance to come out of the gate and be their, not bell cow, but not premier, like their primary running back to start the season. I wouldn't expect that you see more than 15 touches a game. They like Kalani. They picked up who was it? Wilson. So they do have other bodies there until Charbonnet comes back. I really don't expect Charbonnet to be back before week 8 or 9. And really, I think that's being highly optimistic. Let me just see here. Okay. So I passed up Roma Dunze in my last draft. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dunze. What the heck? I passed him up last draft because he has a week 10 bye, and I already had a week 10 bye, and then the next round I grabbed Sutton, yada, yada, yada. But I will grab a Dunze here. Drake May is already gone. I definitely could have gone Jaden Daniels. I have a ton of Jaden Daniels. I need to back off of him a little bit. And in this format, actually, to start the season, he'll be healthy and good. He's fine in this format. Jaden Daniels high upside guy, but also safe floor just because of his running. Like he's always going to run. The only problem with Daniels is does his running get? He runs very upright. That's his problem. Um, he leaves himself wide open for big upper body hits. Um, Whereas, like, he just needs to learn how to turn his body. If you look at Lamar, when Lamar is going to face contact, he's able to turn his body in a way that nobody gets a full hit on him. Um, and Jaden Daniels he really needs to learn how to run like Lamar, and he will, he has the potential to be exactly like Lamar. Um, the other quarterback who has issues running, Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart doesn't, so Jaden Daniels runs upright and gets hit without his intention. Like in college, he was able to get away with it for the most part. But Jackson Dart puts his head, he lowers his head, he lowers the crown of his helmet, and that's going to do nothing but give him concussions and actually eventually probably a neck injury. I have been basically completely fading Jackson Dart unless I draft. Oh shoot, I said his name earlier. Malik Neighbors. When I have Neighbors, I consider Dart, but actually, what I've been doing a lot of, well, not a lot of, some of, definitely in super flex formats. If I get any giant whatsoever, I will draft Jameis Winston in the last or near, yeah, in the last round. I definitely have a lot of Jameis Jameis Winston in Superflex drafts. Think he'll probably start 6 to 8 games because Jackson Dart's a knucklehead just like Scatterbust. Grabbed Prescott there in the seventh to stack with CD. Caleb Williams went the pick right before me, so I was not able to stack a Dunze, but that's fine. I would rather the Prescott Dallas stack than the Chicago Caleb stack. I do think Caleb is being drafted just a little bit too early. I think Caleb should go after Lawrence and Herbert and maybe a couple of others. But I definitely think Caleb should go after Lawrence and Herbert, flat out, no doubt, and probably after Prescott. But that's where he's been going, so people are drafting him. There goes Jackson Dart. Wow, ADP, lots of wide receivers here. I'm gonna have to. Oh no, I'm gonna grow with Jaden Reed. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a reach by ADP, but I actually think Jaden Reed should go ahead of Chris Godwin, Cortland Sutton, Alec Pierce, probably even with Makai Lemon, but all like the Godwin, Sutton, Lemon all have week 10 bye. I already have a Dunze with a week 10 bye. I like Jaden Reed a lot. I haven't drafted him yet tonight because I keep getting Drake May, who has a week 11 bye, and I want to stack that. So I try to avoid getting receivers with that same bye week. But yada, yada, yada. Got Jaden Reed. I do like the way this team is looking. Next couple of picks, I'm probably going to try to focus on quarterback and tight end, but might throw a running back in there. It definitely does look by ADP that wide receivers are going to be left for the Pickens. We'll see. Lots of time before he gets back to me. See, maybe a quarterback falls too. There's a couple quarterbacks that, I don't have their stacking partners, but I don't think they should come back to me. Don't think they will come back to me. After I took Prescott, we saw Quentin Johnson, Blake Corum, Trevor Lawrence, RJ Harvey, and the seventh. Start the eighth, we saw Herbert, Kyle Monangai, Gainwell, Dart. I took Reed, then Alec Pierce, Cortland Sutton, Josh Downs, Rashad White, Jonathan Brooks at the 8-10, Chris Godwin and Jordan Addison close out the 8th round, start the 9th. We see Michael Pittman, Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Mason, Brock Purdy. Mahomes and Purdy are both quarterbacks that I think should definitely be going ahead of Dart. Probably Caleb Williams should be even with the Purdy Mahomes crew in that tier. And you could say Prescott is either at the end of the Lawrence Herbert tier or the beginning of the Mahomes Purdy Caleb Williams tier. Okay. Worthy goes. No. Oh. Huh. I'm just gonna grab Laporta. I need the tight end. Find it interesting that a certain wide receiver is still hanging around. Just want to check out. All right, so probably want to queue up a little love just in case other guys in my queue don't quite fall. Who's blowing up my spot? All right, so I take Laporta. Well, before I even got to Laporta, I stopped at Purdy. We saw Aaron Jones, Harold Finn, and Xavier Worthy. I took Laporta, and we see Michael Wilson, Kyle Pitts, Jacoby Myers, Ricky Pearsall close out the 9th. All right, so there's still a wide receiver here that doesn't go with any stack. He has the same bye week as somebody I already have. Okay, thank you for taking Mekhi Lemon. I can just go with my Green Bay stack. I have way too much of this Green Bay stack. So I do expect, well, I've in the past week, I've become a little bit concerned about their offensive line. The offensive line guru in fantasy football is Thor Nystrom. He works for ETR and a couple others. He actually has a vote for the College Football Hall of Fame or something or other, or awards or something like that. Dude knows his shit. But even 10 years ago, when he started this, he was a basic unknown in the space and has just become known because of his offensive line evaluations. And he was talking the other day about how Green Bay's offensive line is somewhat depleted and he's worried about Love because of it. But I already have too much love in my heart and on my teams. So I'm just going to stick with it and knock on wood, hope for the best. Gives me a little stack there. He's impossible to backstack. So like whenever I do have a receiver or craft, I go ahead and grab him, which is quite often. Actually, you can backstack them. You can't really backstack them. You can stack them with Golden on the turn if you want, but obviously I'm not on the turn here. So Mekhi Lemon was that wide receiver that I was really contemplating in the 9th. If he had come back to me in the 10th, definitely I would have grabbed them. I could, like, falling ADP values are literally the optimal way to draft in fantasy. Like, and it always has been. Back when I started writing and doing analysis 11 years ago, yeah, nobody was looking at actual real ADP. People were considering ADP whatever they saw on ESPN's ADP column or Yahoo's ADP column, and that ain't real. What you see as far as ADP and ESPN and Yahoo, that's not actual real ADP. I'm gonna go over that in a second. Let me. All right. Gonna grab Tyrone Tracy here. I've been betting against Scatterboo all off season, so I might as well bet on Tracy. I do think Tracy would be considered their starting running back had the Dayball not get fired and had Tracy not fumbled near the goal line, costing the Giants like 3 different wins in his rookie season. Um, he was doing so well. He just whenever he got near the goal line, it poof, fumble the ball. Um, so that really hurt his kind of trust value. I'm gonna need a third. All right, I'm gonna grab. Shoot, I wish I had thought this out a little bit better. I'll grab Stefan Diggs. Yeah, I'll grab Stefan Diggs just because I think his ADP value shoots up as soon as he signs with Washington or whatever team he signs with. I was gonna grab Coker and try to stack him on the comeback, but then I was like, I really don't think, not Cam Ward, Bryce Young is gonna make it all the way back. Although by ADP he does perfectly fit, but too late now. I was also considering tight end Dalton Kincaid there. Anyway, defaulted to Diggs. We'll see what happens. It does look like this might be shaping up to be a Geno Smith team, but we'll see what happens in the next 2 rounds. Then if Cam Ward comes back to me, I will grab him. He is next in ADP. He's actually fallen past ADP here, so I would imagine he will not be here. Not many tight ends left, really, as far as consistent tight ends. Maybe I'll grab one if I see one. Got 4 running backs. Could close out. Chigakonkwo is basically the last tight end I saw that provides what I assume is going to be a safe floor. Yeah, it really starts to thin out here. It is really difficult to land the plane in this format because there's nothing consistent at the end. Hopefully, you really are happy with your team before you hit this 13th round. Very little room for, or very few players that present a floor for this format. Although the dart throws you tend to see will actually probably boom more in week 1 and 2 than you'll see him boom. I could have got Coker and gotten Bryce Young on the comeback here, but I'm going to close out my running back room and grab Tyler Algier. He was being talked up by the coaches today. Or I saw it today. I don't know if it actually was today. And I do have like 15% Algier. I think he'll present a pretty good floor. I think you'll see Algier do the same thing he did during Bijan's rookie season. Could be right, could be wrong. We'll see. But that's the bet I'm making. After Algier, Bryce Young, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's great upside play, but this is in an upside format, so I only grab him when I have Trevor Lawrence and don't have Lawrence stacked this late. Brenton Strange. I've been drafting as a very consistent floor tight end, but I'm not so sure he has that floor anymore. I'm gonna just grab Geno here, close out my quarterback room. As I said earlier, having Garrett Wilson allows you to kind of freely stack him at the end. I have him stacked. Everybody's stacked. I need tight ends though. This format, I tend to just miss out on the floor. Well, I tend to miss out on the tight end because I want solid floor, but then there are a couple that go late. One I got last draft that I guess people just don't see the floor in them. All right, so after Algier, I went through I went Hunter and Strange. So Strange, Pat Crane was pointing out this week, or I was listening this weekend. I guess so. I guess it was like last week or whatever. Um, Not only do they have the four good wide receivers, but they also drafted two tight ends. Not that the two tight ends will cut on in on Strange all that much, but the pie, the slices of the pie are getting thinner. So Strange may not have the floor he had last year. We'll see though. I tend to think he still will. Um, but as people are doing projections, it is really difficult to give Strange much of a target share. After Strange went Dylan Sampson, who I talked about last draft, like a lot. Starting at the 14th, we see Charbonnet, Trey Harris, Calvin Ridley, Juwan Jennings. I took Geno Smith, Brissett, Aaron Rodgers. Wow, quarterbacks went there, huh? Then Dalton Schultz, Debo Samuel, Aranda Gaston, Kamara, and Bigsby. I was going to grab Schultz if Geno Smith was gone. Happy to get Geno in the 14th in this format, especially right before Brissett and Rodgers go. Laporta. All right, so Laporta goes, Barner goes. I had my eye on him. I'm just gonna grab Gunnar Helm, who I do think has a pretty safe floor. We see Dulcich go right after that. Do I? Oh, yeah. There's a couple tight ends I hope come back to me. And one receiver I think is worth a grab. So I got three guys in the queue. Hopefully one of them comes back. After Helm, Dulcich, as I said. Then we see Stribling and Tesla, who closes out the 15th. I think I didn't go over everybody in the 15th, did I? Brian Robinson, Adonai Mitchell, Kenyon Sadiq, Brian Flournoy, Sean Tucker, Denzel Boston, AJ Barner. I took Helm. Then we see Dulcich, Stribling, Tesla, and Jonah Coleman closes out the 15th. This guy at the turn is either sometimes these drafts freeze on people. They freeze on me all the time when I'm on my tablet. So you can see people time out quite often. I think it's very important to set up your queue for each round. Use that star method. Just use it correctly. So Terrence Ferguson goes. I would have really liked him to come back. Oh, Fryermuth has the same bye week as Helm, so I'm going to stay away from Fryermuth. I'll grab Jerry Jeudy again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide receivers. I'm going to finish with a wide receiver and a tight end. Just going to queue some guys up as I go here. So when I say use the star method properly, yes, you want to queue up guys for stacks, but I queue up everybody I would consider drafting, including the stacks. So when I'm not trying to pick on him or anything. Davis Maddock, I think he's extremely good streamer. If you don't follow, if you're not subscribed to Davis Maddock, do so. Davis is, and then Maddock is Mattek. He has 3 or 4 YouTube channels. One for best ball, one for redraft, one for dynasty, and I think there's another one I can't even remember. But he used the star method, but he would just star the guys that he would want to stack later. And that's a mistake because, if there's 30 picks in between the guys you want to stack, you're only queuing up your stack guys, and you can, if the draft freezes or you need to back out and come back in, you could miss a pick, and that's where you get screwed by the star method. But if you queue up every guy that you would consider along the way, you're only going to get, if something happens, a glitch happens, you're going to get somebody close to the ADP. And ultimately, ADP value is pretty primary to getting the highest quality team and the highest quality scoring team. It you want in draft ADP value and closing line value. So I think I'm going to get a lot of closing line value on Diggs. I do think Judy presents some closing line value. Helm. I think later, a month from now, these guys are going to be going 2 or 3 rounds ahead of where they are going now. I already have a week 10 buy at wide receiver, but I do love myself some Pat Bryant, so I don't mind 2 week 10 buys. Not a big deal. That's 7 receivers, right? I have 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 7 receivers. I just need a tight end to close out. Now, tight end is fun in other formats here. We are really hoping for floor in this format. I do have 2 guys, I believe. Just 2 here that I do think have a floor at tight end. If you look, so I see a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I see Engram being drafted in the last round a lot, and I think there are 2 guys that go after him. I think Michael Mayer and Theo Johnson have very safe floors at tight end, and even contingency upside. I will go with Mayer here. So Mayer, I consider the Raiders' starting tight end. Brock Bowers is actually their starting Z receiver. He might even shift over to X and certainly will shift in and out of the slot as well. But Bowers is a receiver with tight end eligibility. Michael Mayer is their inline Y tight end. He will be starting there. They will be in 12 formation a lot just because Bowers is a tight end by name. But really, in all intensive purposes, Bowers is a wide receiver. Michael Mayer is starting tight end. The other tight end that I think has solid value is Theo Johnson for the same reason. Theo Johnson will be their inline Y tight end. Isaiah Likely will be a slot wide receiver. I always have those 2 tight ends in my back pocket in the last round, although Mayer has been going in the 17th, and I've even seen Mayer in the late 16th round in certain formats, not this format. But to go over my team again, CeeDee Lamb, Chase Brown, Travis Etienne, Garrett Wilson, Jadarian Price, Rome Odunze, Dak Prescott, Jaden Reed, Sam Laporta, Jordan Love, Tyrone Tracy, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Algier, Geno Smith, Gunnar Helm. I think I got him on all 3 drafts today. Jerry Jeudy, Pat Bryant, Michael Mayer. Anybody else in this draft wants me to go over the team, say so quickly. I am going to just jump to one of my slow draft. I'll go over 1 pick in one of my slow drafts for you guys, just so you can see my last round. I have Caleb and Patrick as my quarterbacks. Oh, is this the last? No, it's the 17th round. I have 4 running backs, as you can see in my queue. The only drawback to Lloyd is he has the same bye week as Bijan, and yeah, he gets hurt all the time. Although I think I'm going to draft Lloyd here. My wide receivers have later ADP, and there's the Thornton stack, Xavier Thomas stack with Caleb, and then the Keelan Allen wild card. I'm going to go ahead and get Lloyd there. I'm going to take the 2 other running backs out of the queue because I'm going to finish with one of those wide receivers. All right, so Visit wheelrouteff.com. I have updated dynasty rankings, updated best ball rankings, and I even have redraft rankings out now. There will be weekly updates for the redraft rankings. One more update next week for the best ball rankings. I will be back on stream Tuesday night, I think. I might do one. I'm not sure of my schedule. Click the bell, turn on notifications. I plan on trying to stream or do some recorded video, um, maybe a mock draft for a redraft. And I do my mock draft where I pick for every team. It is a lot better redraft to watch. If you watch other streams and they do mock drafts, they make a mockery out of drafting. They're absolutely useless to watch because they're like experimenting and trying new things and seeing what happens. But if everybody does that, you don't get a true picture of anything. So when I do a mock draft, I do it completely by myself, pick by pick, as if each one of these teams is mine, and I'm building each team as an individual team against all the other teams. It takes a long time. It's stressful. It gets complicated, and that's why I'll probably do a recorded video of it and kind of prep it all beforehand so it flows. But anyway, have a great night, and I will be back when I'm back. Talk to you later.